Hey guys, Brandon Kowales here, Director of the Salt Lake Community College Concurrent Enrollment Program, and today in this episode we're going to be looking at our Liaison model. Now, a few years ago I attended the NASEP Regional Conference in Montana, and at that conference I had the opportunity to listen to Melinda Karp talk a little bit about her research at the Community College Research Center on the differences between the college experience and the high school experience. Now, up to that point, I had heard lots of academic administrators at the college sort of express concerns that concurrent enrollment was really just a watered down college experience. But the problem was that no one could really articulate what the college experience was and how that differed from a high school experience. Melinda's research, though, opened an entirely new way for us to look at and then also to define concurrent enrollment. The more we actually thought about it, the more we realized that there were actually two elements to the concurrent enrollment experience that really, in our opinion, deserved equal attention. One was learning college content, and the other part was having a college experience that actually teaches kids how to be college students. The reality was that a high school teacher could teach all of the learning outcomes listed in the college curriculum and still not deliver a college experience. It actually taught students how to be college students. If that happened, then students would then essentially be getting college credit for a high school class. And the problem was that if this happened, and it does happen, then students who completed concurrent enrollment and went through that concurrent enrollment experience would then falsely believe that their experience was this close approximation of what college would be like. So then when they made that transition over to college after they'd completed high school, and then they went up to their teacher and they asked for extra credit, or they expected the professor to continually remind them to complete their assignments, or maybe they assumed that there would be lots of makeup opportunities and special exceptions for them, and that the deadlines were really more soft deadlines, not really hard deadlines. When that happened, they would be in for a massive wake-up call. Now, the cool thing about Melinda's research was that it showed that students who participated in concurrent enrollment were more likely to persist and more likely to complete as a result of that experience. She hypothesized that this was the case not because CE students are often, the top performers anyway. She actually factored that out in her research. But the process of taking concurrent enrollment classes, through that process, they learned a skill set beyond the textbook that helped them to sort of develop the skills that college students need to be successful. And then as a result, they identify as college students, which was super important to that whole persistence and completion part. So we then asked ourselves, if we were then to intentionally try to strengthen the college experience elements of this whole concurrent enrollment experience, could we then potentially increase our persistence and completion rates among the students that actually came to participate in our program? So as we asked ourselves that, we decided to go ahead and kick off this experiment by doing our own research similar to Melinda's. So we wanted to set a baseline on the concurrent enrollment persistence and completion rates at Salt Lake Community College. And the interesting thing is what we found in looking at students with similar backgrounds, similar GPAs, and other factors that could potentially skew the data was that students who participated in concurrent enrollment were, I think it was like 10% more likely to complete, 10% more likely to persist from fall to fall, and 13% more likely to complete a degree than those who did not participate in concurrent enrollment. Now, another concern that had haunted academic administrators over the years was how on earth could a college faculty member adequately assess whether or not an instructor was delivering college content in one single visit every semester or year. I mean, even if they were able to visit multiple times each semester, which, would be totally unrealistic, and it'd also be extremely expensive, how did they know if that was a true reflection of what was actually occurring on a daily basis in the classroom? I mean, how could they be sure that the instructor wasn't just pulling the wool over their eyes with, some sort of a performance that day? Or how did they know that the instructor wasn't just having like a really crappy day that day? I mean, we all do. They couldn't. There's no way they could know that. So we started to consult with the academic departments, concurrent enrollment instructors, and also the assessment office to sort of develop a better evaluation system with both content and the college experience in mind. Up to this point, our evaluation had been a completely summative evaluation, a single point of judgment on whether you were a good teacher or whether you were a bad teacher. Now, if you have such an evaluation at your institution, I can guarantee that most instructors find little to no value in this type of assessment. I don't know about you, but at SLCC, most of those types of assessments, usually they rated the instructor highly. And, in a lot of cases, the instructors never actually even saw the results. Either that, or if they saw them, there wasn't a lot of what they would call useful feedback for them. So we realized that if we were going to partner with instructors better in order to strengthen the college experience, then this absolutely had to change. Now, I'm going to spare you all the details of the process that we went through to develop a new liaison model, but let me simply say that today we have developed a much more successful formative evaluation. It's formative evaluation. It's a lot more about instructor growth, about developing relationships, and not about final judgments. In fact, there really are two evaluations that we administer. But before I take a minute to explain those evaluations, first I need to explain the changes that we made to our liaison model. So, going back to the idea that there are really two elements to the concurrent enrollment experience. There's this college content delivery portion, and then there's the college experience portion. Faculty are expert in course content. They really don't even have to think twice about what the standard is and what the standard is not when it comes to content. It is like totally deeply ingrained in them. Understanding the differences between the high school and the college experience, however, and then being able to clearly articulate that in a way that actually helps the high school instructor to better deliver a college experience. That is not. The more that we started digging into Melinda's research and worked on our own research, the more we started to come to the realization that helping faculty to learn those differences in a way they could clearly articulate them would require another huge investment of time on the part of the already overloaded faculty. And on top of that, just expecting them to remember all that information when they really only spend a few hours or days each year performing concurrent enrollment related work. So, it didn't seem reasonable to us. So, I guess you could kind of compare it like it's sort of like if someone expected me to remember how to navigate all the processes of hiring new employees. I can do it, but it usually ain't pretty. Usually when I have to hire, I end up, calling HR to try to relearn a whole bunch of stuff, like relearn how to submit a position, recall, the interview process, how that works, and then just fumble through everything. Again, it's not that I can't do it. I think I have a pretty good sense of what makes a good hire. It's just that I do it so infrequently that when I do have to do it, it usually takes me more time than it should. And, the quality of the experience, the whole process, it really is not as good as someone who navigates that hiring process on, a regular basis and understands, all the ins and outs and can recall those without even having to think about it, like somebody in HR. So anyway, selling the SLCC academic administrators on the value of monitoring and improving on both the college experience and the content, we ended up bringing a proposal to the academic administrators. Now, the proposal was this: if their faculty could focus primarily on ensuring curricular integrity through the syllabus reviews, site visits, professional development, and then new teacher content training, then we in our office would restructure the assignments of our 4 full-time liaisons and then assign them to sort of these broadly related disciplines that they would work with to help strengthen the college experience. On top of that, those 4 would also be the primary point of contact and then would assist with general concurrent enrollment processes and general instructional processes. You know, things like Canvas support. That's our, what do they call them, CMS system. Or maybe ePortfolio, just general instructional things. And then anything else they could do to help, take some of the load off of the faculty. Now, one of the things that the concurrent enrollment instructors had complained about for years was that they really didn't have much of a relationship with anyone at Salt Lake Community College. I mean, the liaisons visited them once a year or twice a year. And as you know, relationships are absolutely key to getting anything done and to resolving problems. This change that we were going to make then would guarantee that concurrent enrollment instructors had a strong connection with someone at the college. Additionally, we proposed a new evaluation system. Now, faculty would use whatever assessment tool they wanted to use to assess content quality, since the instruments varied from one discipline to another, and rightly so. And our college experience, on the other hand, would use a formative 360-degree evaluation that included student evaluation, feedback, and other information to help the instructor to grow and improve at delivering a college experience. Now, for many instructors, this was totally a breath of fresh air. They didn't have to worry about feeling judged and, looked down on. They didn't have to suffer through like an evaluation that added virtually like no value at all to them in helping them to become better instructors. In a way, we were sort of, I guess you could say we're sort of changing the culture from one that was this hierarchical authoritarian culture to one of peer collaboration and improvement, collective improvement. Now, since the first version, we've made a whole bunch of refinements in collaboration with both concurrent enrollment instructors, liaisons, and then our staff. 2 changes in particular, though, that came out of those discussions was, first of all, aligning student course evaluations with the college experience evaluations so that they sort of enhanced one another and worked together. Another was, instead of requiring the evaluation every year, we now perform those evaluations once a year for 3 years, and then at that point, if the instructor is doing a superb job at delivering a college experience, then we scale it back to once every 3 years after that. This then frees up time for those college experience liaisons to focus on other value-add activities for instructors, such as coordinating, like mastermind sessions. Maybe they end up scheduling time for high school instructors to observe faculty on our campus, so that way they can get a sense of what the college experience is like on our campus. Maybe they also work to develop additional resources. I'll show you some of those resources later. And another thing is maybe they just swing by their classroom to just check in on them and see how they're doing. Maybe they drop off a candy bar or whatever, just to let them know that we're thinking about them and that they're important to us. Now, you may be wondering whether or not this has increased our persistence and completion rates. Well, unfortunately, we have about another year or so before we can run that data and see if we've made an improvement. But one thing we have noticed is huge improvements in the teacher and liaison relationships. We've also noticed that students in the evaluation consistently mention how their classroom experience has made them feel more ready for college and even adulthood. A lot of them say, I feel more like an adult now. The other thing we've noticed is that concurrent enrollment instructors have really latched onto the vision that they're not just teaching, college content, but they're also teaching students those soft skills that they need to thrive in college immediately after high school. In fact, in the end of the video, I'm going to share with you some of these resources that we've created collaboratively with instructors to sort of help everyone to grow and improve in delivering a college experience. There's some fantastic stuff that they've created. All right, now hopefully that gets the wheels churning on how you might be able to add more value to your students, your instructors, and then also your liaisons. Now, I mentioned before that I would share with you some resources that have really served us well before we wrap this video up. The first resource that I want to share with you is the college-high school comparison chart that we created using Melinda Karp's research and some of our own research. This chart, it sort of compares the difference between the college experience and the high school experience. And we developed it specifically for instructors to make it easy for them to understand. You can find this by going to slcc.edu/concurrent enrollment and clicking on the CE Instructor button at the bottom of the page. And right there, you're going to see the button to download the sheet. Now, second, I want to share with you this. If you look to the left navigation, you're going to see a link to our first day of class video. We asked CE instructors to share this video the first day of class each semester. And what this video really is designed to do is to set the expectation and the tone that this is a college class and that your teacher is a college professor. And you, as a student, are expected to act like an adult college student. Again, driving home that idea that there's more to this experience than just getting college credit for a high school class. Now, finally, one last thing. On the left-hand navigation, you're also going to see a link called Instructor Best Practice Videos. This link takes instructors to a series of videos where we have filmed teachers demonstrating college experience concepts in their classroom. This is sort of an ongoing project that's designed to help instructors find ways to enhance the college experience portion of their class. And that is the liaison model at Salt Lake Community College. Now again, as always, if you have any additional ideas or insights that you'd like to share, we would absolutely love to hear those. So be sure to share them down in the comments below. And until the next episode, remember, nothing is impossible. You just got to be resourceful. Think outside those boxes that you've been stuck in, and then ultimately have the courage to try things out, regardless of those imagined risks.